Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome back to the webinar series. We start with a new topic, the first Wednesday of August. And this month, we want to discuss about our basic needs and the impact of our basic needs being fulfilled in our early years versus our basic needs not being fully fulfilled. The impacts of both the sides with respect to these needs. Right, Priya? Do you want to add anything? Do you want to start? Please continue.
Mm. So what we've come to realize when we work with our clients is, and what we talked about in the last month on accountability is when there's an issue in our life, um, when we take accountability of it and one person reaches therapy, it boils down to 9 out of 10 times, it boils down to something that has not been met, some need or some requirement of the child which has not been met in the growing up years. And when I say growing up years, most times it traces back to below 8 years of age. And these unmet needs have a very huge impact on the person's life. And at least when I started my journey of therapy and I started, reading more, I realized that these needs are so basic that it is difficult for a person to voice out also saying that this is what I wanted when I was a child and I did not get that. So it's so unconscious or it's so taken for granted because a person's life is kind of built on either this need getting met in a beautiful manner or not being met, and because of which the coping has taken over and life has moved on from there. But the person has no idea because this happens in such very young years that it is very unconscious. So the reason why Gayatri and I wanted to talk about this is because a lot of us don't realize that this could also be a basic human need that we have. At least I'm sure even Gayatri did not have an idea when we started our journey of therapy and being a therapist that this something as simple as this can have such a huge impact on a person's life. So from there we decided to talk about this. How will this benefit you? Number one is it's a good point to start reflecting upon, is this need of mine even met? Now when we talk of basic human needs, we are talking of things which is general for everyone. It is not about a unique person's journey. Every human birth, every human child has this need on earth, is what we have come to realize. So I think every week we will be talking about one basic human need and how it can impact, and maybe we will be sharing some cases on how it has showed up in a person's life. So the first and the basic need of any human child is the need to feel safe. And when we say the need to feel safe, uh, I think the first thing that comes to our mind is, have our parents kept us safe? Have I felt safe as a child? How was my childhood? Was it secure? Now, feeling secure and feeling safe are two different things. Feeling safe is something which uh, we can define as, suppose there is uh, a situation in life which is threatening, which is causing a lot of fear. Now, the ability of a person to hold themselves in such a situation and still feel safe is an internal resource. So, when I say this, feeling safe does not mean the absence of threat, because human life might have a lot of threat. There could be situations from when a child is inside the womb that there could be threatening situations. But despite that, do is there a possibility? Is there a how do I say? Is there a resource which makes me feel safe to take care of myself or to feel taken care of by someone, even in a threatening situation? Is the basic, basic, how do I call it, the resource to feel safe with them. So what we want to establish is feeling safe is not that there is no threat or there is no fearful situation in your life, but despite the fearful situation, am I in a space where I feel safe? And that comes from uh, how a child is taken care of by the parents, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally also. Right, Gayatri? Would you like to add something? So, the primary relationship of any human child is with the mother, and hence um the quality of feeling safe, or the resource to feel safe also comes when the connect with the mother, or the how do I call it, the way in which a child is in the presence of the mother, has felt in the presence of the mother, is explored, or is kind of, you know is kind of taken into consideration. So we take a situation in which the mother is completely present to the child, and when I say completely present, it means that the child feels physically, emotionally, mentally safe in the presence of the mother, to an extent where the child has the ability to think, feel, express itself in a manner which has no inhibition, which has no threat, in the presence of the mother. Then people who have such space usually feel comparatively safe in the world when compared to people who do not have, or have not experienced this with the mother, for whatever the reasons. And the impact of both of this on their lives are different. So a person who has felt safe in the first instant, or the first relationship uh, with the mother or with the environment, has a better resource when compared to a person who has not had this, who has not had this experience, who has felt threatened, and who has not had the ability to hold their safety or feel safe in the presence of a threat. So something is lost from inside them, and there is fear, or there is helplessness which has kicked in, and from there a series of things start off. So, Gayatri, would you like to share how does a person who feels safe show up in life, and how does a person who does not feel comparatively safe, physically, emotionally, mentally, what could the kind of problems that they have in life show up as?
So, if a person has felt safe in their initial years with parents who are usually the primary caretakers, uh, they feel, uh, they feel mm, in a way confident to explore new things easily which may show up in the way that they are good at risk taking. They can take bigger risks, or they can consider new choices easily because anything new makes us go into an unknown zone. But the feeling that I have a support which feels safe in the face of any new experience uh, makes the person feel more confident to go and explore new choices or take the risk, so to say. They find it easy to trust people in their life. They find it easy to open up and show their vulnerable side in intimate relationships or friendships. They find it easy to trust the process of life on the whole. Something is happening. They are Is this okay, Priya? All right. So they find it easy to trust people. They find it easy to, go with the flow of life. When something new happens, uh, there is more hope than fear. There is more uh, trust in the process of life that maybe life is just taking me to a better place or to a place where I deserve to go than doubt every step or doubt every person. So, of course, that shows up in uh, the aspects of the adult life, their career, their challenges with finances, their marriage, uh, their on the whole, their health, how they handle their uh, public life. So it can show up everywhere. On the contrary, when a person has felt that they were not safe with their parents, then one major thing that can happen is they may become overly independent because the child starts interpreting that there is nobody for me to fall back on. So I have to be on my own. Now, on one side, being independent can make the person strong inside and they are very good with their own self. But whenever uh, the situation demands that they need to work in a team or particularly relationships, then they face challenges with people because they may not find it safe to open up, or because it has happened and mind has created the mental program in order to survive. That program keeps on repeating. So people go through repetitive patterns of relationship, or generally with colleagues, friends, they keep experiencing similar things as to what they experienced with their caregivers. That I can't trust them, I can't rely on them. So lack of safety can cause that. Lack of safety can also cause doubt issues. It might create self-worth issues because if they are not there for me, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I am not worthy enough. Something must be wrong with me. So with some people, even that might happen. So it might create self-worth issue. It might create self-doubt issue. So either the doubt outside or with the self. So they might also feel like even when their logic says that things are getting better and life is offering opportunities, so they want to go forward and explore. And a part of them feels ready. Another part of them might think and overthink because they have to be prepared. They have to be alert. If anything goes wrong, they have to be ready with dealing with the consequences. So these are the things which they may face. Priya, do you want to add anything over here on both the sides?
Um, so, like there was a session today, and it went back to the need to feel safe again with the mother. And it was so trivial that it was trivial for, when we think of it, but for the client it was very huge. That it went back to, I need to do something in order to feel safe to be seen. Because I just can't be. My being is not safe. So it can be as basic as that. That just me being over here, my presence is not safe either for my mother or for my primary caretaker or my father or my family. So feeling safe can come emotionally, physically, mentally. In this case, for the client, it was showing up as a health issue because there was a lot of doing, doing, doing. I need to do something, I need to do something. So I don't have the permission to even rest. So, do I feel safe to ask what I want to ask? Do I feel safe to express and communicate what I want? Do I feel safe uh, to just exist and not? I don't have to do anything. And this, as Gayatri rightly said, it can show up in life in different stages. Like when a child is going through teenage, 12, 13 is the time when a person's identity starts developing, when they start realizing that they are different from what their parents are. At that time, do I feel safe to show up as who I am, which might be different from what my parents are? Do I have the space and the safety uh, to feel what I feel, to say what I want to say yes where I want to say yes, to say no where I want to say no? Do I feel validated in my thoughts? Am I dismissed? If I'm dismissed, then I don't feel safe enough to express. If I'm validated, then uh, you know, am I validated enough? Enough to as much as I want, not as much as they think. So small things like this in different stages of life um, have have a huge impact. For example, a person is starting a business. So, like Gayatri said, if a person feels enough, I feel enough for who I am. Now, it doesn't matter how much knowledge the person has, but if they feel enough to start off with anything in life, and they know, yeah, I'll be taken care of. When compared to a person who has gathered a lot of knowledge, but is not able to take the first step because the person doesn't feel safe and doesn't feel taken care of, can show up differently in their lives. So many times the the feeling of just feeling safe to be who we are, to do what we want to do, to think what we want to think, to feel what we want to feel validated for who we are, can have huge impact. So I think what we want to convey to
One more thing may happen. Uh, if the sense of safety has not developed, then this sense of safety may get associated with any particular aspect in our life. So, having a lot of money makes me feel safe, and without money, I feel unsafe or insecure. Or staying in a particular relationship which may not be actually serving my needs or, you know, on the whole, my being. Uh, and yet, someone may choose to stay in that because it is comparatively safe. uh, or staying in a particular job, particular career choice, even when I do not like it. Every Monday, I start waiting for the weekend. But I don't know how to feel safe without, staying in a particular job. I don't know. I don't find enough courage to give up that and find my passion and taking up career in that because I don't feel safe enough. So the idea of safety once gets associated to a particular a relationship, a situation, or financial status, then even when the person understands that this is not serving them, it becomes difficult for them to break that. So many times, the clients who walk in and they're dealing with this issue, the real issue lies behind that they don't feel safe enough. So with that, a lot of resources which would have become available to them are not there. They don't know how to create that for themselves. They don't know how to access those resources. So this can be one of the impacts of staying in a limited situation, staying uh, in a restricted situation in any aspect or maybe all the aspects at times. It may show up in different ways in different cases. Yeah, Priya. Sorry, I jumped in.
Movie. I think we are just discussing how does it show up in life, because the intention is, I think, what we want to leave you all with is to sit with yourself and see what are the areas in life, or which are the areas in life, or with whom or in which situations do I feel physically, emotionally, mentally unsafe. And what have I done about it? We've spoken about accountability in the previous month. I think that's accountability. But this time, because you have better access to being accountable and yet not, allowing the emotion to kind of overwhelm you, uh, just just saying, you know what, I have been pleasing people all my life because I haven't felt safe to say a no, or to express myself for who I am. Or do I feel safe to express my shame? Shame is something which none of us want to show, right? So, do I feel safe to at least express my shameful, or regretful, or guilty parts, at least to myself? Um, we have seen that most times such deeper emotions of shame, guilt, regret usually are stored at the back, because you just put it at the back of your head, or at the back saying, I don't want to look at it now. Or it is so not good, so unpleasant, that it is very difficult even for me to look at myself in such a space. So I don't feel safe to say it to myself only, leave alone showing it, or you know speaking about it to someone else. So I feel unsafe to see my own vulnerability also. So things like that, this could be the start of something very, very big, but it's something very, uh, like it looks like a pea-sized issue now, but it can be like a tree in your real life. Or I have done this all my life. You know what? I have not, or in our family, we have not felt safe at all for this. Such kind of conversations we don't feel safe talking about, or such kind of people, or these class of people. For example, um, there could be family values, and you are a part of it, and hence you have carried it, where uh, not so very rich people get threatened by rich people. So I don't feel safe to make friends with a certain kind of people, or be around a certain kind, or social strata, or culturally, or educational. Now, such things also might trigger feeling unsafe. I know of people who feel unsafe when they enter into a culturally different religious zone. For example, a person from India entering a place in deep Middle East, where the religion is completely different and hence the culture is completely different. So there's, and just as an example, not because something is unsafe, but because my family system or my family values say something very different, and hence something in me feels unsafe. So uh, just being present to such kind of things uh, might take you, or might show a lot of things. Do I feel safe to be different from that of my family? We have had cases, I'm sure Gayatri also has had, where a person born in a economically lesser family feels unsafe to become very rich, because then I will be left out. I will not belong, like Bert Hellinger says. I will not belong to the family, so I don't feel safe to be different from that of the family. Or a person coming from a not so educated background feels unsafe to be very well educated. So anything which is very different from the family also might make you feel unsafe. I think they invite you because everyone's journey is very, very unique. What are the places where you have felt physically, emotionally, mentally unsafe to think, feel, and express yourself, either to yourself or outside? That doesn't matter. I think that is what we want to leave you with for this week. Gayatri, is there anything else you would like to
Yeah, good.
say?
So we then start with the discussion.